Welcome to Sounds from Lothal, where the Loth cats eat well and the Loth wolves run free. I'm Julian.
I'm Giraffe.
And it's D23 weekend, or at least it was D23 weekend. A lot of fun stuff happened, a lot of trailers, a lot of leaks, which we know are not leaks. But before we go any further than that, we have a guest in the co-pilot seat. If you know Girafe and I from Strange New Pod, then you definitely know our dear friend, our co-host, Emcee Frodis is in the house. Welcome to you're on the second episode of Sounds from the
Oh,
Fall.
really?
Emcee. So
I'm honored.
good. You should be on. No, I'm kidding. It's great to have you. So for people that might not know you, and honestly, some people might be listening to us for the first time and not know us.
Mhm.
We'll do what we do on Strange New Pod. What's your Star Wars background? Like, how long have you been a Star Wars fan? What's your favorite Star Wars? Favorite character? All that fun stuff.
I've been a Star Wars fan since I was like 4, and my brothers and I found our parents' bootleg copy VHSs of Return of the Jedi specifically. Yeah, I grew up watching the original trilogy. I lined up to go see The Phantom Menace. I've gone to see basically every Star Wars movie that I was old enough to go to the movies by myself. I saw them opening night. My favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi. I know a little bit of a controversial
It's a good pick,
but I love it.
It's a good pick. It's a good choice.
Yeah. And as for my favorite character, my wife is Hera Syndulla.
Where is she? I got her right here. Boom.
Solid choice.
Beautiful.
Oh, her head bubbles.
Oh yeah, this is the bobble one. Yep.
Nice.
All of the Star Wars Funkos bobble because
do.
it's a licensing thing.
Oh.
Look, I got the team. It's the team.
Yeah, even Chopper bobbles.
Chopper bobbles too.
Incredible.
That's because Chopper's a psycho, and we know that, and we love him.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Well, I have Imperial Chopper.
Oh, that's awesome.
double the war criminal.
Yes. It is so great to have you. I kept on asking if anybody wanted to join Girafe and I for this one, and you were like, I have opinions. So I think we all have opinions on this. Just before we go into, so we're going to be talking about a few things from D23. We're going to obviously start with the one that actually got like a trailer released, and that was the first live action kids show for Star Wars, Skeleton Crew. We'll also briefly talk about Andor and the Mando movie. But anything else that you guys saw that from D23 that got you excited? Anybody can go. Just talk over each other. I don't care. It's a loose show. We were supposed to do Acolyte episode 1 for our second episode, but then this happened, so we changed gears. So here we are.
So we can do whatever we want. We don't have that many listeners, so nobody's complaining.
That's right. We're rebels. We do what we want. That's right.
I was excited by all the cosplay I saw online for D23. I tried to go, but buying tickets was so complicated that, I feel you go to D23 only if you're like deep fan, because you have like to jump through so many hoops. Like I gave up in the middle. I was like, okay, I won't go to D23. It's fine. But yeah. Of all the things I've seen, to be honest, I think the only trailer we got that actually looked like a trailer got me excited. The Skeleton Crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The rest is like put it to HD, shaky camera.
Right.
Like it doesn't get me excited that much. Like maybe when I see it on the real screen, that'd be better.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Emcee?
I didn't see a lot coming out of D23 aside from the trailers for everything else that was coming out that's not Star Wars.
Snow White?
Snow White, which looks so Uncanny Valley in terms of like just everything.
Did you hear the rumors? Why? Okay, so I'm gonna say it's rumors because I read an interview, so I'm not certain it's a real interview or whatever, but what I read online is that they asked Peter Dinklage to cast little people for the seven dwarfs in and he basically told Disney off, saying that it was terrible representation and that they should not cast people only in like these like very narrow roles and so on and so on. And so they were like, okay, we're gonna do CGI then. And so I guess seven people didn't get a job.
Oh well, I mean, I wasn't. Well, I mean, the Seven Dwarfs did look, but I mean, even like they probably filmed a lot of it on the volume, and it just looked, it looked animated, and it's like I already have an animated Snow White.
Yeah, true.
Do we?
But like, I don't know, like, yeah.
Do we agree with Dinklage? Do we not agree with Dinklage? I feel like a job is a job instead of making a CG character.
He's very lucky to get a lot of, jobs, and he did a lot for representation and opening roles and so on. But then if you, in my opinion, I don't know, I'm not part of this community, so maybe I'm totally off, but I feel that you take seven paychecks out of people. And let's speak about Star Trek a little bit. People is always shitting on Code of Honor, and I'm like, right, it's a terrible story, but a lot of black actor got paid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what then? What's the I don't know. Sure, I think maybe they can do better about representation 1000%, but also when somebody who gets jobs a lot and gets money out of jobs, take jobs out of people's hands, maybe it's not great. But I don't know, again, like I didn't see a counter argument. I just me talking out of my butt.
I can make a counter argument that before he had Game of Thrones money, Peter Dinklage did a movie called Tiptoes where Gary Oldman played a little person.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that. I knew Peter Dinklage from Nip Tuck of all shows. So
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I met him in a bodega in Philly like 12 years ago.
But okay, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure like actors who could have been typecast, I suppose, in these roles, like maybe the one that have opinion, and most probably like they'll have opinion online. But I know that is the controversy going on. I am not part of the controversy. I'm just retelling what I've read online.
I would agree though. A paycheck is a paycheck, and you're playing the Seven Dwarfs. That's going to be, I think, a pretty big paycheck too. Disney's...
And it depends how this movie's like what it's telling, but I don't know. On the other hand, you're like, one of the Seven Dwarfs. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
And again, I don't know if it's true. Just read the.
No. He absolutely did. Say something about the representation. Yeah, I had heard about that too.
Going back to stuff coming out of D23, like I liked what I saw from like other franchises. I also love, like we talk on our other pod, Stranger Pod, we love Star Trek Prodigy, right? The animated kids show. I really liked seeing young Jedi adventures like getting love at D23. Nubs is everywhere, man. they had someone in a Nub suit and he looked adorable. Ben, the Star Wars guy on Twitter, bought a little Nubs. Like Nubs is everywhere. And I low key, like, Nubs is very quickly becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So I'm here for the young Jedi adventures representation. If we're going about other franchises, I know there are a lot of complaints about the first trailer for Moana 2 looking like it could have just been a Disney Plus series, but the second trailer looks really good. Like Moana 2 looks awesome. And then if you're a Marvel fan, holy crap, did anybody watch the Daredevil Born Again leak?
I could not find the leak.
Captain America Brave New World. My opinion on that.
No, dude, the leak of Daredevil was, from what I saw from that trailer, full trailer, that show has every opportunity, and it is just a trailer, to surpass the Netflix series. It looks that good. Fingers crossed.
You're talking about season 1 of the Netflix series.
Yeah,
because it got a little dicey.
It did. But like,
as long as he gets to be dressed as Bluey, I'm game.
Oh, I love that. Daredevil is one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time, and I love the Netflix series, so fingers crossed. Giraffe,
Yes.
I want to talk to you about some opinions you have that I think are very valid, because we know that like Star Wars, Disney, Lucasfilm, they're a lot more open with like the fans and like making videos and using their material and stuff, because they don't want to see what Star Trek happens with CBS and Paramount and how they treat their fans sometimes. But one thing that you noted, which I completely agree with, and I want to get your take on it, is like, why not do what Paramount does when they do a big Hall H and just release these all to the public afterwards as
Oh,
well, instead
Marvel.
of, yeah, like the grainy leaks that are
Yeah.
actually not leaks. We know they're letting people record these.
Okay, so for like being a whole edge sleuth,
Sleuth, yeah, like
sleuth,
sleuth. Yeah.
they're on top of like you videoing or like taking picture at not the right moment, and it's a big place, and like they will find you. Like it is very hard to record any of the thing with your phone, even if you're like this with nothing in your hand. They're gonna be in like, what are you doing? Like I was like this, and they were like looking at me. I was like, I'm just holding my head. um so I don't understand in this day and age where a lot of people like me actually don't really want to go and fight to get in rooms to see the thing. I mean, we've been to Celebration together, MC, and I know we
Yeah.
didn't get to, I mean, I didn't get to any panels because I couldn't get in, and I was like, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
fight. I'm not interested. And I was like, I'll see everything online later. Well, no, because you cannot see everything online later. And I'm really confused in this day and age why they don't release the exact same thing online too. Like, what do we gain from leak footage? Like the hype, but it's not even hype. Like if you release the real footage, like Paramount does, like Marvel does, and so on, then people share it and talk about it and like can analyze it and so on and so on. So I somebody explained to me the logic in refusing to put online what they shown into like a giant room at D23 and was
So
filmed by so many people.
the only thing I could think of is that they don't feel like these trailers are actually ready for public consumption yet. Like effects aren't quite right yet. And they want it to come out, so they want the leaks to come out. But if somebody complains about what something looks like, they're like, oh, well, you guys weren't supposed to see that. That was just, test footage or whatever. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Poor Disney.
I know, but I mean, doesn't that sound like something Disney would do, considering how
Well,
they
Yeah, but
screw
like
over
it's super
their
weird to
FX
release
artists?
these cold feet about your own show. Just don't show it. Just prep the thing. Like again, we see it with Paramount and Star Trek. They come with their trailer ready. They show the trailers. I mean, they didn't have anything for Starfleet Academy, so they just released
right.
like Zoom calls, which was cute.
It was
It's
very
not what
cute.
I want, but it was cute. They just released the thing. Be like,
Yeah.
I got so like done with seeing like shaky iPhone video from the back of the room, and I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
And last year they did the same thing with Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yep.
Right,
Last year was it?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I know what you're saying, MC, and Star Wars fans especially are the first people to be like, oh, well, that CG looks awful, or this doesn't look quite right. So like, I get that, but if you look at the video game industry, when they release a trailer or gameplay footage, they do the very smart thing and be like, this is from an alpha version of this game. Final product may not be represented. That's all you need to do is you could do that in iMovie and throw it in front, and then your ass is covered. So I think that it's 2024 and everybody should be able to see the same thing with a
I mean,
disclaimer.
I totally agree, but I do think that mine is probably Disney's logic. But I mean, Disney's
is,
logic
100%.
does not resemble our Earth logic.
No, very true.
It's the ways of Disney
Yeah.
are unknowable.
Yeah. Exactly. So the biggest thing to come out of this is that the one trailer that Star Wars, Disney, Lucas, whatever you want to call them, did release was the kids series Skeleton Crew, which is coming out in December. By the way, stay tuned to Sounds from Lothal. We will have every episode covered and a full season review afterwards. It's gonna be great. Let's
It's gonna
watch.
be so much work.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be so much work because we're gonna have the tail end of Lower Deck season 4 as well. Five. Sorry, 5. I don't want it to end, so I say 4. Yes. So should we watch the trailer? Should we see what this
Yeah,
is all
sure.
about?
Tomorrow's test will set the course of your entire future.
Don't you ever want to do anything exciting? Like what? What if we could go anywhere we want in the whole galaxy? A real adventure. No more pretend. I found something buried in the woods. What do you think it is? I think it's a lost Jedi temple. Hello? Be careful where you step. We're lost. Really lost.
Tis dangerous out there in space. Trust no one.
You're a Jedi.
All right. So, first impressions. MC, you're our guest. Go ahead. What do you think about this?
Well, I either want to call this Star Wars Prodigy or Star Wars Things, because obviously we're Star Trek fans. So we've been talking about the similarities between this and Star Trek Prodigy, which is very true. And I mean, like, this one was intentional, how they're playing up the whole 80s. I've heard it compared to Amblin movies, so like your Goonies,
E.T.
your E.T., yeah, this kind of thing. And it does have that vibe to it. Because I mean, like, if you're not going for that vibe, why else would you show the suburbs in Star Wars for the first time?
Suburbia in space.
Suburbia. Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, granted, considering like we've seen like several metropolis cities and then all of these backwaters, there had to be a suburb somewhere.
Middle
But you
ground.
know, this planet of just the suburbs.
Oh, like in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's
Oh,
like that
sorry.
suburbia from Guardian of the Galaxy. Yeah, it looks so fake.
Yeah, and I rolled my eyes at this test will set the course of your entire life. It's like, oh,
Finish.
come on.
I have opinions about that.
You can go on about that now.
So I to be honest, the whole school thing, and I have the same criticism for all sci-fi. I know it's made in America. I understand it's an American production. I know it's Hollywood. I know it's American writers. I know it's American actors. I know all this. Yes. But if you're writing fantasy, because it is fantasy, let's be honest, it's like, right? You're writing a new world. You can imagine anything you want when it comes to schools. Why would you use school in America and American suburbia? Why? Tell me what is interesting in this. Also, the thing is that Star Wars is such a global franchise. Everybody in the world watch Star Wars. Why is school so American? Like the standardized testing, this is an American thing. Like we don't do it.
It shouldn't exist. Yeah.
The giant rooms with all the kids taking the same test on the same, like, speak of this topic, right? And they're like, it will set your whole life. Like, fantastic. You could not figure something else. You know space travel, but you couldn't fix your educational system. So I was like, oh, bad. So bad. But I think it's just like, again, to make like school looks dumb and school is boring, and like you're better off running naked in the wood than studying and reading books. But will I be wrong?
No,
No,
probably
you're not going to be wrong.
No.
You're absolutely going to be right. So it doesn't even look, it looks exactly like that, like the sterile white school. And it's like, yeah, this test is going to set your entire life. And it's like, there's nothing that actually sets your entire life like that. Like, come on.
I really hate in this suburbia that large classroom sizes still exist. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you can invent any school, any educational system, why would you do this? And I think it's just because they need to set their characters in a way where they don't like school. They're like, I don't want to be here. I want to go and explore and like run around. And on this, it's a perfect opposite of Prodigy, because Prodigy have kids that lost everything, that were like trafficked and that were enslaved, and all they want is to go to school.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
So it's the opposite travel, I feel, because it's just a trailer, right? But that first vision of school as an educator, really, I was like,
well, they're really trying to set up this whole the main character, who I can't remember the name of, trying to set up kind of like this whole like Luke Skywalker thing of like wanting to have, you know, a life less than ordinary, but by making it incredibly mundane, like, because Luke had like this incredibly boring life that he couldn't get out of, but it was still epic and cinematic. Like, you know, he's staring off at the binary sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this kid is just staring up at his mobile.
Suburbia, American space suburbia.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like these kids on Prodigy are so weathered, and like just like and then they know how to use their hands and they know what to do. It's like, man, what are these kids gonna do when like they come across this fighter? Like, they're not gonna know how to do crap, because they're like they're suburban kids. Like, they probably are stuck on iPads all week. What's up?
I have a question. Do we know when it takes place?
I was wondering that myself.
Because if it's like Imperial School, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm buying it. This is Imperial School.
And
this is
if we can go back into the trailer, I'll share my screen one more time.
Because then it's dystopic, because they're doing tests to know where to assign them and send them to like factories or whatever.
I'm gonna mute this.
Okay, I'll buy that. But I don't know when it takes place.
I'm just checking it out.
She looks kind of Imperial, the teacher, a little bit.
First of all, I love that cape. I don't know what's going on with capes in Star Wars lately, but I love all their capes, every single one of them. I want them to be back in like the everyday wear of us, because
I would love to wear a cape.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
I have a time period.
Oh, is it new? Is it New Republic?
It's Mandalorian time. It's 9 years after the Battle of 9 years after the Battle of Yavin. So kind of in your reconstruction time.
That makes sense, because that blue is very New Republic, even though I was saying it's Empire. That is very blue New Republic, which actually says something about the sterile environment, because we know this New Republic from Andor is not the shining beacon of hope that, you know, we wanted it to be after they won the Galactic Civil War. So very interesting. And then all the way at the end here, we get some, there they are. We get some X-Wings. So New Republic X-Wings, I guess. I like that in the beginning of the trailer, the kid just immediately goes, well, it's got to be a lost Jedi temple. Because that's probably what they learned about the school, like the myth of the Jedi, right? Like, what were the Jedi?
And there's no archaeology, you know, like nobody went into the back of the school and excavated anything.
Right. Also, I want to get your guys' opinion. Someone could also Google and just be like, that's exactly who it is. Is this person that we hear speaking, maybe, is that Taika Waititi? Did I hear that voice in the trailer?
Oh, I don't know.
Here, let me play this again, because it sounded like Taika to me.
'Tis dangerous out there in space.
Oh, I don't know.
Sounded very Taika.
I do not
Maybe.
see him listed in the credits.
Okay. I'm also
He
here for
would
this.
definitely have been listed in the
Yeah,
credits.
true.
Yeah, that's
I'm also here for this owl. I feel like this owl might be a Jedi.
Okay. Oh, the robe. I see
The
it
robe
now.
and the belt,
Yeah,
the metal belt.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
all these people that Kylo Ren can
But
kill.
wait, if it's Mandalorian time, like why are there so many Jedi running around?
Well, they feel safe to come out now
Okay.
because they won. So now they're like, hey, we're alive. Kind of like Ahsoka and others. Ezra. Well, they come back later, but other thoughts on this trailer? I know we kind of immediately crapped on it a little bit, but is there anything we're excited about?
I feel it lacks a lot of context because like when are we? What's the context? Because Star Wars has so many different social contexts, depending on when you are, that I think it sets a lot of the tone. Like if it's Imperial School, then it says something. If it's New Republic School, then it means something else. Like in what situation this kid grew up? Did they grow up during wars, during unrest, during revolts, during like this is all very important to know to be able to also understand why they are leaving, basically, or like what happens.
Yeah.
Which quadrant of space they also like going? Is it gonna be dangerous? Is it gonna be fun? Is it gonna like? And last time Star Wars did something for kids, also it ended up being the Clone Wars, which was definitely not for kids. So
I was gonna say, was Clone Wars for kids?
I think they wanted it to be for kids, and it just quickly turned not into being for kids.
But then in the first
Rebels
episode,
was more
like,
for kids.
Agreed.
In the first episode, there's Asajj Ventress, and I was like, this show is not for kids.
Yeah. So I have thoughts on Neef.
Okay.
One of the characters. This is the blue guy.
The Murph.
The Murph kind of. But is he supposed to be an Ortolan like Max Rebo?
Is it the guy that does the piano?
That's what I assumed.
Yeah,
that's what I assumed. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If it is, they've retconned the Ortolan biology again. And it bothers me because if people go look up the maquette for the Max Rebo figure, Max doesn't actually have hands. Max is playing the piano with his feet.
Maybe something happened to his hands.
No, this is supposed to be biologically what they're like, and if you actually if you go to the comics and stuff and you see like others of the species, they're just like these little blobby things that walk around and are really cute. But then, of course, when they came out with action figures and stuff, they gave him just like the regular kind of standard human body. But then they went back to the original design on it. And now, I mean, based on this guy, it looks like they've gone back again. And I'm very confused. I love Max Rebo. Max Rebo is one of my like guilty pleasure characters. And so that kind of goes for all Ortolans. So I'm very intrigued to know if this guy is an Ortolan and if this is just opening up a new can of worms in terms of their biology.
Yeah.
I want to know who is Jordi La Girl.
Yeah, I want to know
That's too.
Yeah. Yep. Because they have the visor on and off sometimes. So are they actually blind? Or do they is it just like a special mod? Are they having representation on the show for, people with disabilities? That would be cool. I want to know.
I hope you're happy that every episode I make up a new name for a character, and I think you should keep a list.
Okay, so we're on Jordi LaVisor,
Darth Babadook, and Jordi La Girl.
The girl that's right, Darth Babadook.
And the character's name is KB, so that also maybe suggests some sort of as in the initials.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Where do you find the name of the characters?
Wikipedia.
You read the release. Look at you.
I feel like I should have been more prepared for this pod and got on the Disney press site and gotten the release, but I didn't
we cannot be as prepared as we do for Star Trek. That's why we invited Emcee so she can read the Wikipedia. We're not prepared.
Hey, we're not prepared.
Oh, it's not even the Wikipedia, it's the Wikipedia.
Oh, Wikipedia.
Even better. Okay.
Okay, so I have to ask the question because yes, we are a Star Trek podcast first on Strange New Pod, and that is our first fandom. We keep saying that this is a ripoff of Star Trek Prodigy. After seeing this, do we believe that? I feel like not so much.
No.
First of all, it's live action, which means that they most probably were in creation at the same time than Prodigy was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ish, right?
Yeah.
I suppose. There's no way they watched season 1 of Prodigy and we're like, we're gonna do the same thing.
Right.
But I think it's a conversation we keep having. It's how much the writer rooms live in the same zeitgeist and like
Have a
keep producing-
checklist.
Yeah, and they keep producing the same thing. And I'm like, what? I know nerddom is becoming such a global like culture. It's not niche anymore. It's not a bunch of. I mean, we're still weirdos, but you know what I mean. We're like, we won. We're the main culture. Yeah, but also that means that everybody that is in these writers' rooms grew up on the same movies, are consuming the same stuff, playing the same video games. Like there's not a lot of niche stuff anymore when you're a nerd. Like we all consume the same Star Wars, right? And I feel that then it started like just producing the same ideas. And we were saying that the other day on Strange New Pod on how many episodes end up being kind of the same blueprints.
Yeah.
Not only the just the narration of it, because there's not that many kind of story that you can tell, right? But how it kind of like have the same trope that comes over and over again, sometimes 2 episodes in a row. And I feel that, we catered to nostalgia, we catered to like old fans, new fans, and we're like, oh, now the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to do something for them to get them in the franchise even earlier, which is what Star Trek did. I think, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be cool, but I'll watch it anyway, and I like it. I'm pretty certain I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I think both Prodigy and this are trying to do the same thing, and that's both Star Trek and Star Wars are aging fandoms.
Hey,
Okay, but true.
I'm not saying you, but I mean, like, what? Star Trek is what, 66
going on 60 soon.
Yeah,
and Giraffe, like we saw the clientele at STLV, so I mean.
Yeah, and I mean, Star Wars is edging close to 50.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, but granted, Star Wars does have an easier entry point for kids, because I mean the movies are primarily for kids, like the initial movies. Like that was, I think, the big problem with the prequels. Like people were complaining that they were for kids, and George Lucas is like, they were always for kids. But the recent releases have most definitely not been, like mentioning the Clone Wars, not being for kids, even though it was an animated series, and definitely Andor, Ahsoka, the Mandalorian even. I mean, my niece knows who Grogu is, but has not seen the Mandalorian because she's only 4, so she can't really deal with it. But
what about
having a series? She loves Young Jedis. But and that's why you get something like Young Jedi, so that you can bring in the younger kids, and you want something for that's for the really young kids, but this is for more like your 7 and 8-year-olds who, like, when we were younger and we got to watch E.T. and the Goonies and that kind of thing, which is the time when we would be also watching Star Wars. So this is just a new Star Wars thing that they can appreciate for their age group.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, as an 80s kid, like, I love the aesthetic of this. And to answer the question too, like, after watching this trailer, I don't really see Prodigy ripoff. I'm sure the Star Trek fans that don't like Star Wars will continue that narrative, and whatever you do,
it's also not the same age group.
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
that
No.
Star Trek went, Prodigy, like it's 7 years old. Academy is gonna be more like
teen,
older teens.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no like really Star Trek for little ones, like little young Jedis, right?
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
think it's different.
Yeah.
Also.
And like, yeah, like going back to the 80s thing, like I'm looking at this trailer, like the little things now that I'm like stopping on stuff in the stills, like this possible owl Jedi. Some of the characters, like the puppetry, like, this might be a weird comparison, but it actually really reminds me of the Dark Crystal reboot a little bit. Like it looks like they're doing cool animatronics and really trying to get that 80s feel. And this is gonna be sacrilege, and I may get hate mail for this, but E.T. is not my favorite movie. But
I don't care for it.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
It scared me so much
It
when I was
scared
a
the
kid.
crap out of me as a kid. But I do
was
love,
terrified of that movie.
Yeah, same. But I do love that 80s aesthetic, and if they could pull that off with this, I think this is going to be a really fun show. And and again, as someone with 2 kids, like I want them, because we've tried Star Wars. Like we took them to see Phantom Menace in the theater, and they had a good time. Caleb watches Young Jedi Adventures, but like if we could watch this all as a family, then like mission accomplished. I like what I'm seeing. The last question that I want to ask you guys about this before we talk about Andor and Mandalorian a little bit is the Jude Law of it all. Jude Law playing a Jedi and kind of maybe being these kids' teachers. That's a big get for a Star Wars kids show. What do we think about Jude Law kind of being like the lead role of this series, MC?
Well, I think like for any other show, he would be a big get, but it's Star Wars, and Star Wars has always managed to get people that you wouldn't expect them to be, even on a streaming show. So I don't know how I feel about his, because I mean, we just saw him, pull back his hood and look all, Jedi-like or something. It kind of gave me some Obi-Wan Kenobi vibes. So if they want to make him like Obi-Wan Kenobi's younger brother, you're like, that's like fine by me. But I will have to find out more about this character, because as was pointed out, there seems to be an awful lot of Jedis just hanging around, and I'm guessing that these are people that Kylo Ren's gonna have to kill in a couple years.
Oh man. Yep. Draft, what do you think?
Dark.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, you said dark, and I was like, oh,
I said dark.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not wrong.
No,
not wrong. What was the question? Sorry.
Jude Law, Jedi.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like killing Jedi, and I was like, what are we doing?
Dark.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was. I was like, who's that? I know that face, but like Jude Law, I feel has changed faces so many times these last movies. I cannot recognize the man anymore. But I'm happy he gets to be in Star Wars, because I'm pretty sure he's a nerd deep down. He's a great actor. Let's be honest. He did great job in like all the different goofy movies and like different style of movies he's been doing this last year. And good for him. I miss though Star Wars having like unknown people.
Yeah.
I
agree.
But yeah, let's see. I suppose that's what like he's gonna bring like other people to watch the show.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like, Jude Law is in it, I'm gonna watch it. Maybe.
I really want to know, like you talk about how he changes his face all the time, but the dude is just like a very well-seasoned actor and can adapt to any role. He's a great hero. He is, I think, an even better villain. The dude is really good at playing bad guys. So I want to know what energy he's going to bring to this. If he's going to be maybe a little bit like more edgy, you're not quite sure if he's like a psycho or, all the way with it. I feel like that might be the kind of character we get, and I'm here for it. That is a wild assumption. Go ahead.
My favorite Jude Law movie is Gattaca.
Gattaca, so good.
I do have to say, on Star Wars getting unknown actors, I actually think Star Wars is pretty good for unknown actors. Like Jude Law, if you think about, like, everybody else in this cast is unknown, and Jude Law is basically like Alec Guinness in terms of like the original trilogy, and even like Pedro Pascal is a big deal now. He was not that big a deal when he got cast as the Mandalorian.
True. I feel like everybody knew him just from his little role that he had in Game of Thrones.
To be honest, when I watched Star Wars when I was a kid, I didn't know who Alec Guinness
Yeah.
was either. So
Well, yeah.
Fair.
they were all new to me. Every single one of them.
But he was a massive actor.
I know.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about with the Skeleton Crew trailer before we move on?
Do we know how many episodes it's gonna be?
8 episodes.
I was gonna say 8.
Yeah.
As long as they're not as short as the Acolyte, I'll live with it.
Girl, please. Agreed.
But 8 35-minute episode, we're gonna have a problem, Disney.
Yeah.
We're gonna have words.
We're paying more and more.
Yep.
Well, more of the minutes.
I will say, if Disney dares try to raise their prices for Disney Plus again, there will be riots because they announced publicly that they are making a profit off of streaming now. So there is no reason to raise prices. If you are making a profit now, which like every other streaming service, including Netflix, struggles to do, then you ain't raising prices on me again. Sorry.
And also, they shouldn't pull shows and lock them in their vault. What? Who said that?
Oh, did somebody say that out loud?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's talk about Andor, because I know Giraffe loves Andor. I know that Emcee has not seen all of Andor, and I am very opinionated about Andor.
So I'm the only Andor apologist here?
You're not. Yes, you are. Yep.
Well, boo.
I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, you've not watched it at all?
I saw like the first episode and then just, it's not that I didn't want to watch it. It's just like I had a million other things to watch and never got back to it.
So
and you didn't like it.
Our friendship is over, isn't it?
I'm alone. No, because you're gonna like it. I just need you to watch it, and then we'll be in the same team.
I will say, before I get completely thrown under the Skeleton Crew Suburbia bus, that there's episodes that I absolutely adore of Andor. Like the whole I'm gonna try and be vague for Emcee, but the whole prison arc is like some of the best television ever. It was a lot of the other stuff that was just like, I understand why people love it and I respect why people love it. It just wasn't for me. I am excited because y'all know by now I am a little bitch when it comes to nostalgia. I love it. And with season 2 of Andor and this trailer that they showed, we are getting closer to Rogue One. And I believe they have said that Andor season 2 will end the day before the events of Rogue One, which is pretty cool. And that I believe it's 8 or 10 episodes will take place over 4 years. So there will be multiple time jumps during the season. I believe everybody watched the potato grain footage. Emcee, what did you think of what you saw from the Andor season 2 trailer, or I guess first look?
I thought it looked pretty good. I thought, considering I had no context for it, I enjoyed it, and they mentioned Ezra Bridger in it, so
yeah, I completely missed that somehow, and I need to go watch it again. Yeah. What about you, Giraffe?
I trying to remember because it's a shaky video thing for Andor, right?
Yeah.
So I was angry. I was not happy.
I know.
But okay, actually one of the shows that I'm looking forward the most, all shows together, even with Star Trek, I loved Andor because it's different TV. And we were talking about how they keep feeding us the same thing, like not knowingly, I don't know, knowingly maybe, but like I feel that I love all the stories we get, and I really like it. But sometimes I'm like, again a race, again a space battle, and I feel Andor totally went like left field. They went totally away from everything else, and they did something totally different. That was like the pace was different, the stories were different, the political like analysis and the deep like reflection of how do you break people so much that they're ready to die to just get in your face. And all this thing is fascinating because it's also something that I feel is stories that I feel can teach us so much to read about the world. And how much can you beat up people? How much can you deprive them from their rights? How much can you like stop them from working? How much can you stop them from earning money? How much can you insult them, scare them, torture them until they are ready to die, to just riot and take down the system? And I feel that the whole Toby Haynes, what he did with Andor is absolutely incredible, and I'm really looking forward to how they're going to do a second season of it, because also I feel it was very perfect in this triptych kind of form, because every arc is like 3 episodes, and
That's a great
I
point.
really liked how it was encapsulated, also like Rogue One. And I feel like Rogue One and Andor are like built as a very classic like tragedy, and I really like this. So I'm really looking forward to season 2, but at the same time I would have been totally fine with having only one perfect season
Yeah.
of Andor.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening in second season because I didn't like.
Right.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about it. It's possible I might have seen a fake trailer because I've just looked it up on YouTube. It was listed as season 2. But YouTube people tend to do that
They sure
sometimes.
do.
So there is an official thing out, or we don't know?
No, there is. The thing that I sent you was the
Yeah.
official thing, like the potato footage.
And I'm just,
But it's
and
got
I'm
it in
thinking
footage,
that,
yeah.
and I'm thinking that I might have seen, because I mean, if honestly, if somebody had mentioned Ezra Bridger and you would have remembered that, Julian.
I would have. I feel.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was any Ezra Bridger there. No.
Yeah, so I think I was fooled.
You got
and I didn't
duped.
and I didn't know any better
No.
because I didn't see the first
That's
season.
That's fair. That's fair. But the
Sorry.
timeline does work for that speech. So who knows? Listen, yes, I have lots of opinions about Andor. The things that I loved about Andor didn't actually involve the character of Andor. I adored the whole prison arc. I also, watching the footage, I am thrilled. I can't remember that character's name. That Stellan Skarsgård's character is coming back for season 2, because you talk about one of the most unique Star Wars roles ever. Holy crap. Genevieve O'Reilly coming back,
Luthen.
Sorry?
Luthen.
Thank you. Yeah, Genevieve O'Reilly coming back, the political games, the ISB stuff, the Imperial Security Bureau, like,
Oh my
all
god,
of
the
that.
guy who keeps eating his cereals. I'm fascinated by all of the character in that show.
Yeah, like there is a lot to love about it. It just it didn't quite work for me, but like from what I saw, and then like again talking about nostalgia, Alan Tudyk is coming back as K2, and how do you not love that? I just, I even though I wasn't a huge fan of season 1, it's like Picard, right? I had so many gripes with Picard season 1. It's a flawed season of television, but there's a lot of good in it, just like there's a lot of good in Andor season 1. I'm still stoked for season 2, and I really want to see, because Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie, how you are going to thread that needle with a 4-year time jump in an 8-episode season and end literally the day before the events of Rogue One. Like, that is a hard thing to accomplish. I think they could do it. I'm excited. Let's talk very briefly, and then we'll wrap this up, about Mandalorian and Grogu. They announced Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a theatrical film after 3 seasons of the series on Disney Plus. Not a lot from the footage that was shown. Again, shaky cam as well. One of the biggest reveals is that Zeb Aurelios is back from Rebels, which is fucking cool. Draft, we'll start with you this time. What do you think about Mandalorian and Grogu going to theaters? I know you probably didn't watch the footage.
I'm gonna be a sucker about it. I didn't again, they should release things that we can watch, like, or leak images.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I'll look at those. How long has it been that we had Star Wars in the cinema?
Last Jedi, not Last Jedi. See, I forget that there's that other movie that came out.
That other one. Yeah, that other one was like right before the pandemic.
Right,
Yeah.
2019 or something like that.
Yeah. So it's been a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a bit. I always like to watch Star Wars in the cinema. I like sitting and having the music come on and like I like it. It's nostalgia. It's like I've been doing that for 30 years. I'm here for it. And I feel the Mandalorian has never disappoint. I mean, there's like up and downs, but I feel like it's a very solid story, and Pedro Pascal is doing great, and it's cute and it's funny, and it's also like has like stakes, and they also can do whatever they want, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
It's we were talking when we were talking about the Acolyte, how like when they get into this very political or very like very important moment in the chronology, you can't fuck up too much because there's a whole story around these key moments. Like if you write about Order 66, you have to
Yeah.
keep the story straight, right? But I feel with the Mandalorian, because he's like in the periphery of the main stories, you can kind of do more things and have more fun.
Yeah.
And like that episode with Lizzo and Jack Black, I was like, it makes no sense, but I'm here for it. Or like the whole like Mandalorian 2.5 season in Boba Fett. So a movie, yeah. Can Star Wars flop a movie? Yes, we've seen it. We know they can, but I don't think you can flop a Mandalorian movie.
I don't think so. The footage looked cool.
No.
It looked like the Mandalorian, which if you do that well, yeah, you can't really fuck it up. Yeah.
And also, if you think about the Mandalorian, if you cut out all of the fetch quests that they go on, you probably have like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
yeah,
Yeah.
if they just keep it like nice and tight on things. I do have to say with Zeb, if they have Zeb in there, I don't want it to just be like that one tiny scene. Like I can't have it just be
like
a
they
cameo to
did.
throw it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need him because I mean we didn't have him in Ahsoka. He was the like one major character from Rebels that we didn't have in the main cast. So let's have him in this movie. Bring his husband Callison too.
Yes, let's go. Yes, I love it.
Do you think they have the same system in Star Trek where they decide which legacy character is gonna go where?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say they have the same system. Yeah.
So that means that the Mandalorian got Zeb, Ahsoka got Sabine and
Ezra and Hera
and
and,
Hera
Chopper.
and
They literally got
like-
everyone but Zeb, which doesn't actually make a lot of sense, but here we are.
Interesting.
I mean, also, but I think with Star Wars, especially the streaming services, most of them are kind of done by the Filoni Favreau team. So
it's
it's
Yeah.
probably a lot less competition. It's more, this one goes here, this one goes here. They need to split people up so that
Right. Will you,
know,
let this
to
character
attract
play in
people
my
in.
sandbox because it might work a little bit better? Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Prodigy got everybody but 7, and Picard got 7.
Yeah.
Is 7 the Zeb of the? Is Zeb the 7 of the Star Wars universe?
I'd be fine with that.
That'd be fine.
I'm
comparison.
fine with that
Yeah.
too.
Anything else on these Star Wars properties that we talked about tonight? Does anybody want to add anything before we wrap this one up?
To be honest, nothing excited me as much as the Acolyte excited
know.
me when it
I'm
came out.
I'm gonna say that
they
I'm gonna
announced it.
say it. I'm gonna say it. The fact that there wasn't a season 2 renewal at D23 is very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Also, we come like to the same thing where they go back to play in the same sandbox with the Acolyte. They went out and they like tried something new, and we go back to the same timelines and the same characters. And I mean, like, I'm here for it, but also sometimes I want something weird.
I'm not gonna fly a plane over Disney headquarters, but please renew
I
the
will.
Acolyte. Giraffe will.
Maddie, give me back, Maddie.
Giraffe just wants the thirst back.
Yes. Bring the
I
full
mean,
frontal
you're not
back
wrong.
to Star Wars.
Not wrong. That was a snack. I believe that is gonna do it. Before we sign off the Holonet, Emcee, you are our guest. Tell people what you have going on. Where can people find you? What's up? What's going on?
You can find me all over social media at Emcee Frodis because branding is important. I have a book that I just came out with in May. It's called The Star Next Door by Mallory Casper. Look it up on Amazon because it's a lot of fun. And I'm on Strange New Pod with these guys every Thursday at 9:30 Eastern.
Yay, MC. All right. Well, the next time I see Giraffe will be in person in San Diego, and we are gonna plan out our next few episodes of Sounds from Lothal. So look forward to those. They will be the Acolyte episode reviews. We just are planning guests and stuff. We do promise. We swear.
Listen, we're like Diesel, like we don't start right away. You need like to let us.
You gotta give it some love. And listen, it's not like Giraffe's not gonna come back and talk about Manny. So yeah, exactly. That's gonna do it. We will see you for the next one. But before we go, just remember that you too, like a loath wolf, can run free. Good night.